Here's a live look now from RDOT's iDrive Arkansas camera. They have crews out working, of course, around the clock to clear the roads. And with the risk of black ice, if you are driving tonight or even tomorrow morning, use extra caution on your commute.
I would always, side on a little bit of caution, a little safety, slow it down a little bit more than normal. But as you're approaching those bridges and overpasses and getting on and off the interstate, let off that gas a little bit just to kind of minimize. Don't hit the brake. You're going to hit a couple of spots here and there, and no one likes that feeling of losing control for 2 seconds. It kind of wakes you up. But I would just say keep the guard up just a little longer, and things will be, considerably better Friday night.
Road crews around cities continue to work clearing off more streets. In Springdale, Public Works Director James Smith says his crews have been on 12-hour shifts trying to make roads in the city passable. Today they were using the sun as their friend, letting the ice melt and then going in and replowing the ice that had been stuck.
Even though it's below freezing, the sun is good radiant heating, and once that breaks loose, then we'll probably gang plow either Huntsville 71, 265, and peel it all off while it's still melting. Because once the sun sets this evening, it goes back below freezing, it's stuck solid again.
And then you repeat that process?
Repeat the process tomorrow.
Smith says the efforts today focused on treating problem areas like major thoroughfares and the hills around the area. Leaders at the University of Arkansas say they have restored full heating power to campus. Now, the problems began this afternoon after an issue with a turbine within the university's steam-driven heating system. That forced the university to drop heating to buildings east of Razorback Road to 75%. University, though, says it has not led to any severe damage within buildings. The slick roads also leading to another round of school closings for a bunch of the big districts tomorrow. Fayetteville, Rogers, Bentonville, Farmington, all canceling classes for tomorrow. And you can scan the QR code here on your screen. It'll take you directly to the up-to-date list of all the closings and delays on our webpage at 5newsonline.com. And with several school districts missing days because of the winter weather, Arkansas lawmakers also considering changing the way schools would make up those missed days. A House bill would require public school districts to add 5 additional days to the calendar so they don't have to worry about making up those days at the end of the year. The bill still needs to pass in a committee before it goes up for a vote in the House. Big changes coming to Arkansas schools, meanwhile, after Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signed 2 major education proposals into law today. One piece of legislation will ban cell phones in schools starting next school year. Another will launch a free breakfast program for all students. Governor first announced the support for both initiatives in January. Since then, lawmakers were able to work across the aisle and make a plan a reality.
For academic performance, but also for the emotional intelligence, the socialization that they need, and really just to understand what it's like to be a kid.
We have a universal commitment, bipartisan, every corner of the state, to make sure that when our kids are in school, they will not be hungry. So I want to thank my colleagues in the legislature for making sure, along with the governor, that we're going to take food insecurity in Arkansas from the bottom and we're going to go to the top.
Governor also says she hopes to sign bills before the end of the legislative session that would eliminate the state's grocery tax and then make higher education more accessible to Arkansans. Tomorrow, Arkansans will have the opportunity to pay their final respects to a former governor. The Arkansas State Capitol will open its doors for a solemn occasion as former Governor Jim Guy Tucker lies in state in the rotunda. Public viewing will take place from 9 to 4 on the Capitol's second-floor rotunda. The state was under his leadership from 1992 through 96. It followed a lengthy career in public service. Tucker died last week at the age of 81. Tonight in Oklahoma, meanwhile, people there are remembering the life of former Governor David Boren. He died today at his home near Newcastle, Oklahoma. He was elected governor in 1974, becoming one of America's youngest at the age of 33. He then went on to serve in the U.S. Senate from 1979 to 1994. He was then the University of Oklahoma president from 94 to 2018. Boren was 83. New at 10, justices of the peace in Washington County have approved an ordinance that raises their annual maximum pay. The ordinance, which will raise their per diem compensation to $993 per meeting, passed in a meeting tonight. Justices, though, thought the current pay inadequate and suggested the pay might discourage some people from seeking positions on the quorum court.
What I would invite you all sitting here and you all at home is to view this as a tool for yourselves as well. For the next time, if you feel as though that you have not found your representation on this horseshoe adequate, understand that this might open the possibilities for greater representation.
And let's take it to the next budget session and vote it in at that time. It's not fair to our constituents.
The original ordinance passed during budget session for 2025, addressing the salaries for the full-time elected officials of Washington County, but did not address the salaries for the part-time elected officials, which include the justices of the peace. We're learning a former Northside High School football coach has filed a lawsuit against Fort Smith Public Schools. Joey McCutcheon filed the suit on behalf of Felix Curry, claiming the district administration unlawfully reassigned the coach at the end of last season. Lawsuit accused the superintendent, Terry Moravsky, of making this decision without a school board vote. Curry served as Northside's head football coach and campus athletic director since 2022. He was told last November his contract would not be renewed. Fort Smith Public Schools says it's aware of the lawsuit and will not comment on any legal matters. President Trump continues efforts to reshape the federal government as he begins the second month of his second term. Erica Brown explains the White House's plan is set to impact roughly 6% of the IRS workforce in the midst of a busy tax filing season.
President Trump addressed Republican governors in Washington on the heels of a legal victory that could clear the way for mass firings of federal employees.
By the way, wait till we go into the education department. We haven't even done that.
On Thursday, U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper, an Obama appointee, ruled unions representing the federal workers must bring their case before the Federal Labor Relations Authority rather than a federal district court. Katie Sandlin recently got a pink slip after uprooting her life in Alabama for a job at the National Institutes of Health outside Washington, D.C.
I wiped out my savings account. I maxed out my credit card. I had to take out a loan.
Sandlin is one of the thousands of federal probationary workers to be fired after being in her role for less than 2 years.
Now I'm unemployed. I have a ton of debt, and I'm also losing my health insurance.
President Trump and his Department of Government Efficiency are targeting the IRS for the next round of layoffs. More than 6,000 IRS employees are expected to receive termination notices by Friday. President Trump's advisor, Elon Musk, who's leading the charge, touted the DOGE cuts on the first day of the Conservative Political Action Conference.
As we're finding savings, that's going to translate directly to reductions in tax.
Some Republican lawmakers, including Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski, argue the cuts are coming too fast and too deep.
I'm all over being supportive of finding efficiencies, eliminating the waste, fraud, and abuse there, but there is a way that we go about it.
Earlier in the day, Senator Murkowski joined Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine and all 47 Senate Democrats in voting against Kash Patel to lead the FBI. Patel, a Trump loyalist, narrowly won confirmation in a 51-49 vote. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
Today at the U.S. Capitol, former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell announced his current term will be his last. McConnell used his 83rd birthday to make the announcement that he will not seek re-election, still has 2 years remaining in his current term, and will retire the longest-serving leader of the Senate Republican Conference, a position he has held from 2007 until earlier this year.